when you see that the hasty way the SEC puts this complaint together and with some of these erroneous, literally false statements within the claim, here you are, the plaintiff, bringing this to me, wasting my time potentially, and this is like drivel.
Clifton says, look, settling the matter could be in the cards. I think so too, but at the same time, I think we all know Richard's personality, and I really think he wants to take it to him. I think he wants clarity. I think he wants a ruling in his favor, and he's in it for the glory. Don't forget, I don't think settling would give him that kind of feel good story. I just don't see that. So the more I think about it, I don't know. I don't think settling is anything that he's thinking about it, obviously, but I hope we don't. I would like to see a settlement and a ruling.
Yeah, I want this resolved. Well, I just want to resolve.
I want resolution. Yes, I want resolution. I want an answer.
Right.
I want, and that way we can move on from this, and the haters can then go to hell, hopefully.
Well, I think it was maybe somebody there was a great stream. Shout out to Cabana Crypto. Walrus, I think, was on there, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting who else was, but it was sometime last week, and they were talking about this whole thing. And I think it was
Big K.
Internet. Yes, exactly, Internet Money. Right? Or no.
KG. Well, KG is Internet Money, and I think B. Krakowski was on there too.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. But no, I forget where I was going with that. But
either way, sorry.
Well, the whole settlement thing, like, we want a resolution sooner rather than later. And, somebody pointed out on there is like, hey, this is just kind of the cost of doing business. And sometimes that is true. One of the things that happens to you when you make the kind of money that Richard Hart has over your life is you're going to have to pay off the haters. It's just kind of a part of doing business. And is it unfair? Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, if he can keep, like, okay, for example, this is something that I think they brought up on that stream too. This bullshit, and I keep forgetting that this is even in there. One of the things that the SEC is asking for is you must step away from crypto, not talk about it or be involved in it ever again. What is that? Okay, like, what? That's one of those things where it's like, what are you guys doing? What's the intent here? You want money. Right. Like, we know you want money. You even put an exact number out there that you're looking for. And now you're saying that the guy you can't talk about it, you can't work in it, you can't do anything about it. What are you talking about?
Right.
What do you make about that? Because that seems like the salt in the wound one. Like, what are we doing here?
Well, again, I hate to bring up his name again, but with Trevon, they I thought they had done that the first time that Trevon went in front of them with the BitConnect thing. And said, you're going to settle here, and you're not going to talk about this stuff anymore. Well, he proceeded to, and I don't know if he kind of just said that, if they really said that, and he didn't care. And now he in his last little stint, which we might as well talk about. He claimed the same thing. So. I don't think they can do that. I don't think they say, well, you're not allowed to talk about this anymore. You may be able to say, well, you can't talk about your prices or anything like that.
Which he's hesitant already of. He's already hesitant.
He's been very, very careful in the past to give any kind of forward-looking price predictions. So, does that prohibit him from streaming and being part of his community? I don't think so. I don't think you can. I don't think you can do that. You're not doing anything wrong. It's freedom of speech. It goes back to those type of things where you can't stop somebody from making a video and talking about the things that you enjoy. You really can't.
And
So
I think that was probably Travon's MO by continuing to talk about the stuff, like, and if you look at like Richard's recent tweets and stuff like that, what are you, what is there to attack about that stuff? I wanted to say something that Johnny brought up in the chat a bit ago here, and we talked about this earlier, but about the judges getting fed up with the SEC making stuff up with these, not just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, but also just with this thing we just saw with grayscale. Like clearly, rules for thee and not for me and all these things. I wonder how much, even if it's different judges, obviously different jurisdictions, these people, these judges are still human beings, even though we like to think that people in politics or lawyers are not human.
yeah.
But they are, and they
Right.
may be seeing what is happening. I'm sure they're seeing what's happening with this other stuff, and I would think, even if it's not supposed to, that it could maybe influence their thoughts a little bit, or at the very least, when you see that the hasty way the SEC puts this complaint together and with some of these erroneous, literally false statements within the claim, it's like, here you are, the plaintiff, bringing this to me, wasting my time potentially, and this is like drivel, like what you've given me here. It's like the dog ate my homework kind of a thing.
Yep.
So do you think that carries over? I mean, like, do you think these judges are seeing that? I mean, look, the SEC taking these huge losses in the crypto world, it's gaining steam. Everybody's talking about it. All of crypto Twitter, from Altcoin Daily down to Hexologist, are
Yeah.
shitting on the SEC pretty much equally right now. So, yeah, what do you think? I mean, like, do you think they'll have influence on these judges?
So it it scares me a little bit. Excuse me, hang on. It scares me because we all know how corrupt some officials can be, how they can be bought, and at that point, I just worry that someone doesn't step in and say, "Listen, you got to make an example out of somebody because we're looking like shit here." And I
Yeah.
hope that doesn't play on our case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope that's not the one. So that is one of the things that does concern me. To they start taking all these L's and they start paying people off and say, "Listen, we need a win, and this could be a big one." That's my only fear. Other than that, I think he'll be very prepared. I think his lawyers will be very prepared. And Johnny brings up a good point here too. That the one time that Richard did settle was over $500 because he didn't want to travel to Washington State. Um, and they're still saying it's proof of him being a scammer. So, I do agree with this. I think that he did that once, and I've thought about that too. Another reason why I don't think he'll settle this time. I think he wants to win, on top of the
Mhm.
glory, on top of everything else. But again, my fear is that somebody doesn't step in with some big pockets and have somebody say, this one needs to kind of go in our favor because we all know
Yeah.
things are crooked, things are corrupt. As much as we, like to think everyone's fair about it, and try to respect the judicial system for what it is. Um, it may be the case where a jury would be a good thing, rather than putting it in the case or in the hands of just one person. So,
I
just my
hear
thoughts.
that. I tend to agree with what Mr. Chink said here a few minutes ago. He said, "I believe RH will do what's in the best interest of his alter ego," meaning these entities that are also being sued and called his alter ego in the complaint. Even if it means settling, he knows a long, drawn out case will drastically hurt the price. He'll do what's best for the price. IMO. I at the end of the day, I agree with that. And I do understand that, hey, Richard's a fighter and he's not going to, do this or that. And I understand that. I do get that. But I think that as big as his ego is, honestly, and this is a compliment, obviously, I think he cares more about people that believe in him and believe in the products that he's,
Yeah.
had a part in. So,
Yeah. I
I
support either way. Whatever
right.
happens, it's obviously his decision to make. So, I think all we're doing is speculating at this point which way it'll play out. But again, it's ultimately him and the lawyers to decide on what's best for everything. So
What I want to ask is like, and I know you haven't either, Ewok, but like, there are zero vocal, visible victims of Hex, Pulse Chain. Like, we literally only know, and we're not going to put his name on blast or anything like that. The name of one of the maybe the sole person who made a complaint to the SEC. Solely out of not taking personal responsibility and making a dumb financial decision trading wise and then blaming others, in this
right,
case Richard Hart. So these complaints that are received by the SEC for their bounty program are simply people who, again, made these bad decisions, buy the top, sell the bottom. These are mistakes that you could make with Bitcoin. Hell, I mean, Microsoft or trading a stock or something like that. It comes down to personal accountability. You mentioned the other day talking about the SEC and this issue with impact theory, the NFT thing. What did you want to say on that? Because that was important, and we can relate to that a little bit.
well, I think they dismissed that one pretty quickly as well. I think it was another win. I don't know how far it went, but again, it was just another incident of them overreaching.
Yeah.
And I heard it was brought up and dropped pretty quickly. I could be wrong on that one, but it kind of came and went overnight. I felt like, so I don't know how that one played out because it's not really being talked about anymore. But again, for NFTs, it's there's so much overreach here. As much as I'm not a fan of NFTs, but the growth of what NFTs have become and will become in the future. You
Hmm.
know, it, again, I'm glad this one hopefully got thrown out. If what I read was correct, it was brought up and released as quick as it came into play. So that's really all I know about it. We heard about it one day, and then someone said, "Well, that's been dropped." So
Yeah.
that's a good thing. Another
Yeah.
another win.
Yeah, and they're just kind of stacking up at this point. So yeah, hopefully these judges and the people that matter do see what the SEC is doing. They continue to
Mhm.
overreach.